Daniel's belief that Terry Silver won't return in Cobra Kai is flawed. History proves he can still be a threat. Terry Silver's wealth and past tactics suggest he could build a new team to compete at the Saikai Taikai tournament. What happened in The Karate Kid Part 3 proves Daniel LaRusso is wrong about Terry Silver's potential return in Cobra Kai. Ever since Cobra Kai Season 5 ended, there's been speculation as to whether the Karate Kid sequel series is really done with Thomas Ian Griffiths' character. The first 5 episodes of the final season didn't answer this question, but addressed the possibility of the villain eventually coming back into the picture via a conversation between Amanda and Daniel in the season premiere. Despite his defeat, Terry Silver's return never seemed unfeasible. After all, only his arrest was shown, and there was no way of knowing if he'd actually been convicted. Amanda put voice to those suspicions in the episode when she pointed out that he could get the charges dropped. But according to Daniel, Terry Silver probably won't be a problem even if that does happen. The way Daniel sees it, no one will ever fight for that guy again. But while he's right that Silver has lost the loyalty of his students, that's not to say that he has no path back to the series.
You can't kill him! He's like a cockroach!
Not only could Terry Silver get out of going to prison just as Amanda says, but he could also overcome the obstacle that Daniel mentioned as well. Daniel has a point about Silver losing all of his students, but his history in the franchise offers evidence that he certainly can become a threat again. In The Karate Kid Part 3, Mike Barnes fought for Cobra Kai in the Ore Valley Karate Tournament simply because his services were paid for by Silver. In other words, loyalty is hardly an issue for Silver, he can buy the allies he needs. In Cobra Kai Seasons 4 and 5, his wealth was used as a recruitment tool, but only in an indirect way. Students were lured to Cobra Kai by its superior facilities and resources, which came courtesy of Silver's money. However, he didn't pay people to fight for him like he did with Mike Barnes in The Karate Kid Part 3. But now that he's lost all of his students, he may feel that falling back to this old tactic is his way of achieving his goals at this point. Obviously, it would take a long time to build up a whole new roster of inexperienced kids until they're on the same level as the students in Johnny and Daniel's dojo. Such a move would amount to a shortcut, which is perfectly in line with his tendencies in the franchise. In addition to hiring rather than training a fighter for the Ore Valley in The Karate Kid Part 3, Silver paid off referees to get wins for his students in Seasons 4 and 5. This goes to show that even now, Silver isn't above using shortcuts to reach a victory.
I'll do anything, I'll do whatever it takes to...
The same method that he used to get Mike Barnes on his side could be replicated and magnified to make him a factor in the Saikai Taikai tournament. If his lawyers do indeed put an end to his legal troubles, he can see about finding a way to compete in the Saikai Taikai. If he can recruit fighters of a similar caliber as Barnes in The Karate Kid Part 3, he should be able to put together a formidable team of 6 who could pose problems for both Miyagi-Do and Kreese's group. As for how Terry Silver can enter the Saikai Taikai, that issue would need to be addressed at length if the series does go down this road in Cobra Kai's remaining episodes. Silver and Kim attained a spot for Cobra Kai in the Saikai Taikai, but episode 5's ending indicated that Kim used it for her own dojo. That could prevent Silver from entering a separate dojo into the tournament, but it's important to note that as an original co-owner of Cobra Kai, he has a strong claim on the name that theoretically could have posed challenges to Kim and Kreese. It's possible that the complexities regarding who owns Cobra Kai will be dealt with in the next batch of episodes, which are likely to shed light on what went on during the big time skip. During the months that passed between the section of the team captains and the start of the tournament, much could have transpired, including Silver and Kreese working out a deal with the Saikai Taikai committee so that both can have their dojos enter the Saikai Taikai tournament.
Do we have a deal?
Do we have a deal?
No. Is it going to be a deal?
Is there a deal?
I don't know. Is there?
Is the deal done?
the deal could be done.
A storyline where Terry Silver builds his own Saikai Taikai team could also explain where Kenny fits into the picture. As important as he's been as of late, it's hard to imagine Kenny not being a factor in the tournament in any form. He's now unable to fight on Miyagi-Do's behalf, but could align himself with Terry Silver, especially since the two did seem to have a bond. Kenny was disillusioned with Silver at the end of Season 5, but a desire to compete in the Saikai Taikai could help him look past that and in turn, give Silver his male team captain. By having Terry Silver get involved in the Saikai Taikai, Cobra Kai can provide a meaningful conclusion to his arc in the series. As Kreese explained, Silver's top priority from the very beginning was to win the Saikai Taikai. It's something he was working towards ever since the 1980s when he and Kreese were still under the wing of Kim Sung-young. Finally, Silver scored a chance to compete in it in Season 5, with his efforts being what set up the entire story for the show's final chapter. To not have Silver be part of that would be to ignore his importance to the narrative. None of the characters in the series would be participating in the Saikai Taikai if it wasn't for Terry Silver's obsession with winning the competition. Given how important it is to him and his desire to leave a legacy for himself, it would be a service to his character and Season 5 as a whole for Terry Silver to return in Cobra Kai Season 6 to finish what he started. After all, the extreme methods he's already used, Silver letting his defeat in Season 5 stop him from accomplishing his ultimate goal feels quite unlikely.
You can't defeat me.